myself.
No, say those words.
No, it's going to happen.
Yes! On this week's GTA 6 o'clock, 2026, the year of GTA 6. And those Christmas screenshots we mentioned over the break were good, weren't they? Rappinator in GTA 6.
And a lot of people sort of, I hate to say it, feigned interest in Beta-Rater at the time.
And the Rockstar mystery unsolved for 7 years, which relate to spiders' webs, telegraph poles, guitars. It's all here on this week's GTA 6 o'clock. Hello and welcome to episode 105 of GTA 6 o'clock, and Happy New Year. Welcome to the first show of 2026, which marks, Dan, just 316 days until November 19th, or just 45 episodes of this show until we'll all be playing GTA 6. This is GTA 6 o'clock, the world's most in-depth and best connected GTA 6 show. I'm your host, James JJ Jarvis, and this is Dan Dawkins.
Happy New Year to you all.
Happy New Year. I hope you all enjoyed the extended interviews that we put out over the Christmas break, but now we are back to our regular programming. And those Christmas screenshots we mentioned over the break were good, weren't they? Very excited about
the
them.
Christmas screenshots. We talked about this on the final show of the year. I also covered it in the final GTA 6 o'clock newsletter of the year, where, as a matter of interest, I looked at every single Christmas social post or Rockstar Newswire post they had done since the infamous, what was the wording they used exactly?
Happy holidays.
Happy holidays, full stop, enjoy. And then they released 5 new GTA 5 screens, which, as I noted in the newsletter, looked like something someone had found down the back of the Christmas tree. Because they look like 5 of the less... I mean, I'd take them right now.
Sure.
But they were 5 of the less good screenshots. And the post was honestly, happy holidays, enjoy, 5 screenshots, the end.
That's all I wanted.
And that would have been fine.
That would have been fine.
We did not get that. And in every year since, now it's now 14 posts since, we've had obviously no similar recurrence. Though as we met yesterday and we were chatting, kind of obviously so, because we haven't had that many other GTA games.
No other GTA games.
So, the opportunity, you could argue, hasn't been there. But I don't know, I didn't have a good feeling about the Christmas screenshots. I didn't want a sour Christmas. We've all had wonderful Christmases or restful times. So I think there's no need for regret now, sadly. But yeah, it does leave us, potentially staring at a short while until we receive more official GTA information.
A short while. Shall we investigate how long a short while might be?
Yes.
Obviously, no analysis to do on those mysterious screenshots. And we don't want to start the new year 2026 off on a downer. But it does feel a little bit like this drought, let's call it, may continue now until we're about, whisper it, 6 months away from launch, which would put us into like a May timeframe, being generous, I think. Is that where we're landing? We're not expecting anything to pop out of the woodwork in the next January, February time, are we?
I'm torn between with what I'd like to believe to be true.
Yeah,
and
well,
what again?
Merry Christmas.
History suggests will be true. So we're about to dive into actually a look at the previous marketing timelines, and we can look at what history has said. I'd also preface it to remind us of what Strauss Zelnick, CEO of Take-Two, had said back in March 2025 to Bloomberg, so already almost a year ago, where he'd said, we found that the better thing to do, and this is in relation to marketing, is to provide marketing materials relatively close to the release window in order to create that excitement on the one hand and balance the excitement with unmet anticipation. Now, he was saying that at the point where we believe GTA was still coming out last year.
In November.
Crikey. Yeah. A lot has changed since then. But I think that frames it as in, I don't believe they'd have changed their thinking on keeping a relatively tight promotional window, which I guess leads us on to, even in the most generous case, what does a promotional window look like?
Well, yeah, and 6 months out. And I think we're looking at the next drop, hopefully being the next trailer, which would be trailer number 3. third trailers for GTA 5 were essentially 3 trailers in one. It was Michael, Trevor, Franklin trailer.
Yes.
Was the third one. All in-game content from cutscenes, very story heavy, lots of supporting characters in there. I'd imagine that trailer 3 for GTA 6 will be similar in its story heavy, introduces you to a lot of the supporting characters, has some lines in there from Jason and Lucia, of course, but fleshes out a little bit about what we're actually going to be doing in the world and how they got tangled up in this crime drama thing that they end up doing, and ultimately we imagine doing some heists.
Yeah, I was rewatching this morning the Michael, Franklin, Trevor trailers to remind myself of what they were trying to achieve. And I guess one of the things was that was the first time Rockstar had done 3 characters, so it made sense for them to kind of expand on what that would mean. The Michael trailer, I'd say, is arguably the most iconic. Other people may disagree. That's the one with the Radio Gaga soundtrack. It's Michael essentially in conversation with his therapist, discussing, I'm rich, I'm miserable. I guess in that I'm like everyone else in this damn city. And then the therapist ends on, you might need a new therapist because you're addicted to chaos. But what he does a really good job of is broadening the fabric of Michael's life. And then it's the same for the Franklin trailer, which talks about how he's kind of wed to the streets and kind of being a gang member and wanting more. The Trevor one is just Trevor being Trevor, right? It's
Sure.
Insane Trevor. But you're right, it's all cutscenes, but they all are very much from what we saw in the final product.
Yes.
But it's not gameplay per se, but
there's no HUD, there's no actual behind the character shots. It's all
But it builds out character motivations and the context of their world. I definitely think that's something they could do again, because it doesn't really feel like we've got quite enough around either Lucia or Jason or any of the other supporting characters they put on the website.
Yeah.
So they could go down a route of, is it Jason, Lucia, the other characters, or maybe not do the same thing again, right? We don't know. But there's definitely a piece to do, I think, around expanding the motivations of characters in that world.
Yeah, and I guess the difference between the GTA 5 trailers were that Michael, Trevor, and Franklin were 3 very different characters living in the same world. Whereas I think Jason and Lucia are a little bit more connected in their, they're similar ages. They have roughly the same motivations of wanting to, get out of the world that they're living in and get a better life, and how they do that might be different in the ways that they're thinking, but their overall dreams are basically the same. Whereas Michael, Trevor, and Franklin maybe had different motivations and just ended up sort of a ragtag group of people. But Jason and Lucia are going to be much more connected. But it'll be interesting to see how that's fleshed out in the next trailer, whenever we do get that.
Yeah, agreed. And that's a really good point, because I think the GTA 5 protagonists were socio-economically really different, where Michael was, you can safely assume a multi-millionaire living in a beautiful part of town in a beautiful mansion, which has got different problems of apathy. Franklin's not living in that. He's living downtown. He's living it, day to day is pretty tough. Trevor, is literally living in a caravan in a really tough, bad area, where you don't get the sense of Jason and Lucia, from what we see, being totally disparate in terms of background. But that might be wrong, right? It might be wrong. We don't know yet what that situation is, but that would be interesting. Is it that actually Lucia's from a really rich family from Liberty City, or are they not? Are they, it doesn't sound that way, right?
Yeah,
it sounds more like she's from a struggling family, but you just don't know the full context, do you?
No,
I think that's what makes it exciting and puts a twist on it.
And those GTA 5 trailers, of course, were a great way of introducing us to the different areas of the map.
Yes.
Whereas I don't know how they're going to do that in GTA 6 without, just going, and here's some wildlife, and here's I don't think they're going to be living in opposite ends of the state. But who knows? Maybe they are. We know Jason is probably going to start off in the Keys, where Lucia starts. I mean, if like we've talked about, she starts off in prison, you're not seeing a lot of the world from her eyes until later on in the game.
Yeah, and it's also to assume that they follow the same pattern of this being a either character-led or story-led beat.
Yeah.
Whenever it drops, we don't know, right, for certain. But I can see why the campaign would benefit from it, because we don't know that much about the characters. And as we'll talk about in a minute, it feels too early to dive into anything more granular or gameplay-led, which they've always traditionally left very late.
Yeah.
And I can talk a bit more about that as we get into it.
Yeah, in a similar way, the third trailer for Red Dead Redemption 2 focused on in-game cutscenes, like things that you would see in the game once you got playing it. Had a lot of voice lines from the leads and supporting characters, very story-heavy. Similar in its execution to the Michael Trevor Franklin trailers, but obviously very different tone and setting and everything. But some of the key things were in there. That was obviously the latest big release that Rockstar had. But if we look at the GTA games in particular, Trailer 3 for GTA 5 was released on April the 30th, 2013.
Yeah.
Game came out September 17th. So if you add 2 months onto September, you get to November the 19th. Well, you get to November the 17th, but you basically get to the release of GTA 6. Then you can start to line things up if you really want to go down this rabbit hole. So if you add 2 months onto April 30th, which was the release of Trailer 3 for GTA 5, you arrive at June the 30th. Now that feels quite late. I mean, it doesn't feel quite late. It feels like it lines up perfectly. But what I mean is, from now until June, that feels like quite a long time to wait.
It does.
And we've previously talked about May being a good time. And I think it's either going to be May or late June, because you want to avoid all of the summer release activities, showcase events, all of that kind of stuff. Typically, Rockstar don't get themselves involved in that stuff, so it sort of rules out the first 2 weeks of first 2 weeks of June. So you have to then go before all of that happens and get the jump on everyone to go, no one's going to talk about anything else but Trailer 3, good marketing tool, or you wait till all of that's died down and go a week or two later once everyone has got over all of the new announcements and the dust has settled, and then bang, here's Trailer 3. So I don't know which way that's going to fall, but I would be surprised now, unfortunately, if it wasn't either of those two dates.
Yeah, I agree with that. I don't see them. They will not launch into the melee of whatever the new E3 Summer Games Fest season is. It's just not their style. Would they want to put out a trailer before and effectively say everything you're about to see over the next 2 weeks doesn't matter? That's kind of what that would be the implication of putting that trailer out early, right? Forget it. Here's the main event.
Yeah.
Do what you will for the next 2 weeks. Or the reverse, wait until the 3rd or 4th week of June. Everything you've seen now doesn't matter because of this.
You thought you'd seen the best things coming out in the next 6 months, but oh boy.
And I guess maybe the latter is the more definitive final word, so to speak, assuming there is like a cosmic narrative of gaming. Then there is, because the games media perpetuates it. Maybe later in June is better from that point of view, but from a human being who really wants to play this game and is desperate for new information, which is all of us, right? That's a long time to wait. And I just do wonder whether they'll. And the difference to the situation you described with GTA 5 is that the game was actually coming out September the 17th. So in the new calendar year when it flipped, we only had 9 months.
Yeah.
Now we're almost effectively facing an entire year. And I think psychologically, the new year, we all go through a reset moment, don't we? And I think then you just feel like you want something sooner. Now, will Rockstar, as you know, a company made up of sentient human beings, behave the same way? I don't know, but I feel like the inclination would be to do it slightly sooner from a human instinct point of view. I don't know where you land with it. What do you think?
I mean, of course, I'd like it sooner. But I think
if you were betting,
if I was betting, I would say they're going to wait until sometime in May or June.
Which one though?
Oh, which? I mean, what? Can I split my bet? 50-50.
Sure. Yeah.
No, I would want it to happen in May. I think that's
Yes.
a good
Yeah, I feel the same.
a
Yeah.
good time to
Yeah.
do it. It
Yeah.
gets everybody, when the industry comes together at E3, to talk about the trailer relentlessly. Have you seen it? Have you picked up on all the clues? What was going on there? Oh, what did you see today? Oh, I saw this. But have you seen the GTA 6 trailer? Like, it would dominate the conversation, which would be great for Rockstar. And I think it doesn't quite work out in terms of the rest of the timelines if we look at them. It puts a little bit more of a gap in between that trailer and what we would then expect to be the gameplay trailer, which should be the next one.
Yeah.
But that's okay. Don't worry about that. Just get it out there.
And as we say, the campaign that was might not be the campaign that is.
Yeah.
Maybe it doesn't matter. I mean, look, my most optimistic version of this, and this is how I feel, and I don't think I'd be alone in feeling this, is that even waiting until the end of May to June is really long. It's really long. And like I wish, or I think there's a rationale for saying something Easter, as in it's a new artwork. It's something. Do you know, like I mean, not the equivalent of, but something like the Christmas screenshots.
Happy Easter.
For them, it's something of nothing, but it just gives us a crumb of something to talk about and creates a bit of momentum. Like, I personally feel the campaign would benefit from something like that to raise morale.
I mean, it's not unheard of. When Red Dead was coming out, February the 1st, 2018 was when Rockstar set the, again delayed at that point, release date for Red Dead 2.
Yeah.
Coming in October. So, like, yeah, if you're going back through history, which, as we've said before, might not be relevant to anything this time around, but it's not unusual for them to go, big games coming out, we need to do something. At that point, it was, okay, we're going to announce the release date. We've obviously already passed that point for GTA6, so what's better than a release date? Some screenshots, or like you say, some artwork, or even just an update to the website that adds, you know, a new character or a new location or something that's just like...
That's what I think. Something just drops on the website. You know, what's the most if they were to do some kind of news update, it's too early for pre-orders, I think. Maybe just a new artwork or some screens. I think the community needs it.
Yeah.
And I think at the moment, but I don't feel that's coming imminently for the reasons of, I think right now, all of Rockstar's attention, I don't want to derail this conversation, but I think all of Rockstar's attention right now is on resolving the union dispute. And I think they just don't want to be seen to be doing anything else publicly until whatever that is can be moved on from, however that resolves. I don't think it's a good look for them to be out there touting screens. I guess anyway, drawing any kind of attention to them while this thing is ongoing. I think they're happy to be as under the radar as they can be until that's moved past, and then they can, hopefully make everyone in the community a bit happier.
Well, let's see. As we said, adding 2 months on to April 30th, which was the release of that GTA 5 trailer, you get June 30th. The gameplay trailer following that for GTA 5 was released on July the 9th, which was 2 months before the release of the game. Add 2 months onto that, you get to September, which is 2 months before the release of GTA 6. Then they released a GTA Online trailer August 15th, which was 1 month before the game came out. If you add the 2 months onto that again, you get to October, which is 1 month before the release of GTA 6. Add that into your Zelnet comment of wanting to condense the timeline a bit more. And in summary, we could be looking at GTA 6 trailer 3 in June, a gameplay trailer in September, GTA Online trailer in October, then the game comes out November 19th.
Yeah, I think that all makes sense. Once the starting gun is fired on what we say is effectively a 6-month countdown, that sequence makes sense. The thing that will be interesting this time around is the gameplay trailer, which was, you know, a genuine look at the way the game behaved as you would see it, with user interface. You could see car customization, you saw sniping, there's loads of different things in that trailer. As I recall, members of the press were invited to play it beforehand, and that trailer was basically a public version of things journalists had already seen and written about. I wonder if they will do such a big public round of gameplay. You can play it now, press, influencers, or whatever the strategy is now. And if that was the case, that might even be taking place, August on that timeline, which is kind of like, I say Gamescom, but like that period of sometime in August could be when people finally get to play it, see it. We don't know. We don't know what their plans are. So I wonder if they think, and I say this as a member of the press, if they feel they have to do that in the way they did back in the day, or will they invite a handful of influencers to play it, or just GTA 6 o'clock?
Yes,
which I think
we
is
will
a great.
Spread the word.
I think that's a great way to straddle the world of expert media professional and influencer.
Thank you to listening. Thank you for listening to our pitch. We will be refreshing the inbox throughout the week. All right, well, let's talk about an interesting bit of information that came out just before Christmas that is related to something called the Rappinator. Now, this was Take-Two have been spotted registering the domain name Rappinator.com. And it's all the way back in 2020, coincidentally during the development timeline of GTA 6, we believe. Now, Rockstar has released a music mixer game in 2009 called Beaterator. Now, that says on the website, built from the foundation of Rockstar's widely acclaimed original web version, Beaterator puts world-class mixer at your fingertips, enabling easy, powerful, and innovative creation, featuring original music and a sound kit which includes thousands of loops and sounds produced by Rockstar and multi-platinum producer and entertainer Timbaland exclusively for Beatinator. Do you remember this game?
The Beaterator.
The Beaterator game.
I do. I do. Largely because it felt like a thing that obviously every member of the press, doffs their cap to Rockstar. This felt like one of the toughest sells they had. I remember this period in history, and a lot of people sort of, I hate to say it, feigned interest in Beaterator at the time because it didn't feel like the reason everyone was obsessed with Rockstar. But I think this might be the revenge of Beaterator, but let's keep going.
Yeah. Now, Rappinator.com was registered by Mark Monitor, which is the same firm that registered the other websites for GTA 6, like Ride Me, Buck Me, Leonida.gov, Hookers Galore, etc., the ones we've talked about on the show before. Now, Rockstar Intel have covered this and said that since the report of a music-making update by Tez2, your favorite game.
My favorite confused data miner.
Formerly Tex2.
Yeah.
Since that, no such content has been released for GTA Online. Much of what we received has been criminal business focused on the reworking of content from the cancelled Cops and Robbers DLC. Now, the theory here was that it was going to form part of a GTA Online update and never materialized for one reason or another. Now, in a thread on the GTA forums discussing GTA 6, Tex, which is Tex2, same guy, responded to a fan with an interesting tidbit, claiming that Rockstar had planned to update the Recorder Studios from the contract update to feature Beaterator-like features. This would have included the ability to create custom mixes. However, it was canned for GTA Online, but he says, or they say, I don't know if it's him, I'm assuming it is, they say we'll definitely see it in 6. Obviously, none of that is confirmed. It's all speculation. But if we're going to go on down the speculation train, let's say that this has been introduced into GTA 6 in some way. Could it be that it's going to become like an in-game recording studio for the likes of Real Dimes, who are signed to only Raw Records, hoping that lightning can strike twice, the website says. So what if you got to work in the studio during the story missions to create their tracks using the in-game version of Beatinator, now called Rappinator, which you could then upload to like Rappinator.com in real life and share your in-game creations with the world, going, I've remixed this track, here's my tune. And then you could also go back to the studio later and create new mixes from the library of samples and loops that Rockstar provide, possibly with some of the other collaborators they've got on the soundtrack, to create real world music, but from within the recording studio of GTA 6, but publish it online and send people to it and say, what do you think of my remix that I've done for this track? I think that would be cool.
Yeah, I'm going to go mad here and say I love it.
Oh,
and
yes.
and to the point where I think it's going, like, I've convinced myself.
No, say those words.
No, it's going to happen.
Yes.
It's going to happen.
Happy New Year.
You will be able to create your own songs in GTA 6, says a crazed internet lunatic.
100% confirmed.
No, look, and let me dial back from that a little
Oh,
bit. There's a couple of things here, actually, I think do supply evidence for this. So the biggest one is, Beterator, right, which was an interesting experiment that maybe didn't reach the audience that Rockstar intended it to. That technology might be a brilliant thing that they've always said, wouldn't it be great to bring that back one day? And with, Moore's law, the power of consoles, etc., what was once a standalone application could now quite sensibly be a thing that happens within a larger video game, or a babyfied version, a more easy to use version, it makes sense. Now, more to that point, there's an entire thread of characters that we've been already revealed that feel, that at the moment, I think, don't feel like their place in this universe has been fully justified, right? In terms of the story. Not yet. And that goes from like Booby Ike, who's the strip club owner, who's again involved with music, he owns the label, to Draquan Priest, who's got, he's involved in music production. There's I think quite an interesting in this context screenshot of Draquan Priest at a mixing desk, or stood over a mixing desk with a colleague, with a thing that looks a bit like a Beterator. And there's loads of like things happening with it, and real dimes. And the three of them feel like their place in this world would be amplified by if a major new gameplay feature is Beterator. Because you're not just then like, these guys are cool, but what's their point in this story? You're like, oh my God, they're the vehicle through which I will create my own tracks and share them in the actual world. This is crazy exciting. Now, I'm putting two and two together to make a winning rap track there, but I think that's potentially quite plausible.
Yeah,
and it's a massive. It's also like, as a mainstream angle, huge. Where if you say to whoever, this upcoming video game GTA 6 is so big, you can even make your own songs in it.
Yeah,
people will be like, what? And we've seen, even looking from the trailers that we've seen, and we've seen this sort of Instagram style video clips of, please correct me if I'm wrong, what looks like real dimes wiggling on a car.
Yeah.
Like, what if that is an in-game video you shoot, or a video game you shoot, or a video you shoot and soundtrack, or a variation of that soundtrack? And even within the game, you've got like this, maybe not infinite, but multiple variety asset that people will share that promotes GTA 6. That's really exciting. And, it makes me more excited about GTA 6 in a way that I probably haven't been for a while, because it's so paradigm changing. It's something that no one else would dare to do, but Rockstar could. It's also completely in line with the company DNA. Started by music executives. It just makes perfect sense. So I love it, because I actually think there's a chance this could be real.
I think there's a very good chance this could be real. And I will say that is, all of this stuff is things that we have thought about. So if this becomes fact, you heard it here first. You can create your own music within GTA 6. And maybe you don't get to upload them to a public website. Like maybe it's an in-game website, but then you look at like Snapmatic and the way that they did just, public galleries of people taking pictures and uploading them. Uploading music tracks like that now isn't much of a extra stretch, given how much faster the internet is now, how much you can compress those kind of files. I think it would totally work from that side of things. And hey, maybe in the ever-evolving world of GTA 6, there is a like user-created radio station that eventually plucks the best of those tracks and puts them into GTA Online for everybody to hear. If you go on to the whatever they end up calling it, user-created in-game radio that just uses samples that they've already cleared because they're already in the game.
Yeah.
And it's like a load of tracks that you hear driving around. You can remix whatever you want.
It's just so exciting. I think to make every GTA 6 player the producer of the upcoming Real Dimes EP, such a great hug. And then, as you say, it could be literally mimicked through the in-game radio and go, we've got a new remix of da-da-da-da.
And that new
by
remix
so-and-so.
is your remix.
Yeah, your remix. You're like, what? That's awesome. It's
cool.
such a cool everything about this like passes the we talked about it
in the
probably
board
not on
meeting.
the show.
Are we in the board meeting again?
Probably again in a board meeting. We've probably been in real board meetings. It's the Google test of effing yes or hell no. It feels effing yes to me because everything about it's really exciting. Now, someone at Rockstar might be listening to this and going, "You crazy maniacs! We've got enough on our plate without you saying for definite there will be a music making."
Now we have to go make it.
Yeah. Like, of course, it's very easy to get excited about, maybe very hard to make. But I will just say the paving stones are there in terms of the heritage, what they've shown so far, and what it could mean for the game and how exciting it is. So, yeah, I'm pumped for this. I'm 2026 hyped for this.
Yeah, nice. And as we talked about, they got 10 weeks to implement. Not 10 weeks, 10 months. Not out in 10 weeks, guys. Sorry. 10 months to implement
Get it done,
if it's not there already. So easy.
Yeah.
And next up, the mystery that has gone undiscovered for 7 years. Now, this is a bit of a curveball early on in the year, but I love mysteries. It's within the Rockstar universe. If you really want to stretch it, you could say it's somehow GTA 5 or GTA 6 related. If you really want to stretch it, I don't quite think we're there yet. But there is a mystery that's been unnoticed in Red Dead Redemption 2 for 7 years. Now, players currently are going through all the connections which relate to spiders' webs, telegraph poles, guitars, and as we said, possibly GTA 5. There's a YouTube channel called Strange Man who has done a video all about this because this is reasonably hard to follow. So if you need to go get some background, you can go and watch that video. But hopefully we'll be able to show you with video clips and screenshots. So the long and short of it is, and this is, as I say, quite complicated.
Yeah.
There was a telephone pole, or there is a telephone pole that has a spider engraving on it in Red Dead Redemption 2, both in story mode and in online. Now, this is near the Cornwall Kerosene and Tar. On the top of this pole is a spider web with a feather on it that can only be seen at a very specific time of day. The spider engraving is meant to show the direction of 7 other webs that follow this same pattern. These webs usually show up at night during the times between like 2 and 3 a.m., 3 and 4 a.m. They're all different and will not appear unless you're there at that specific time. At the center of this spider's web, there's like 7 things all the way around it. In the center point of that, if you head there between 1 and 2 a.m., there's another set of webs that appear. And if you line them all up, it lines up to form an N and a telegraph pole. Now that lining up is like, I would say, pretty hard to do as it is, because it doesn't actually explicitly highlight an N and a telegraph pole. You just have to sort of draw a line around it. But if you travel directly north from that point, you get to a telegraph pole that can be shot, that then reveals an inscription which reads W with 5 crosses. These crosses are then actually related to other telephone poles. So if you travel west from that first telephone pole, past 5 other telephone poles, you get to the 6th one, you can shoot that, and it reveals another inscription which reads NW and has the symbol that is currently believed to be a guitar. And I say currently because as of right now, that is as far as the mystery goes. If you travel northwest, which would NW would make sense to follow the directions because W stood for west, NW is northwest. If you go that, you get to a fort but there's nothing currently inside it, and you don't pass any guitars if it is, in fact, a guitar. Now, all of this stuff is apparently not due to an update or a new addition to the game. It's been there since day one. It's just gone unnoticed because it's really, really hard to do.
Oh, man. Yeah.
Some people have theorized that this could just be bits and pieces from cut content, and it's not actually leading anywhere. Others believe that it could be tied into similar webs found on Mount Chiliad in GTA 5, which behave in the same way. They appear and disappear at certain times. And in fact, in GTA Online, Madame Nazar mentions the line, "A web still untangled after so many years," which, if you really wanted to go deep, you could say those are the two worlds now coming together in that, Red Dead 2 had spider webs. GTA 5 is continuing that mystery that still needs to be solved within GTA 5. I don't think that has happened. I don't think there's a way that they've made Red Dead 2 a super complex mystery within Red Dead 2 that somehow then makes you go back to GTA 5 to find some kind of solution to the puzzle. I'd love that to happen.
Yes.
But I don't think that's what's happening here.
No, I don't. But I also love a conspiracy theory. I love that even to get to this point suggests, it's the idea of there's some kind of higher power at work within the world of GTA, which it's the reason so many people are into conspiracy theories in real life, because you want to believe that the world isn't as boring or depressing as it is, right? There's some magic at play. I didn't know about this till you just talked about it, so I want to see the footage of the pole being shot and how it reveals the inscription, which I'm sure hopefully you'll be seeing on screen before even I have.
Yeah.
And I think I'll believe more in this theory, I think, based on how deliberate that reveal is. When you shoot it, how does it look? Is there any way that they could have designed it that someone might have actually done it? I think I might believe in this more once I've seen that. But yeah, we know from talking to other Rockstar developers that Rockstar, they do this. And I think sometimes they do it in a way that isn't necessarily known to everybody in development. I think it's possible for designers or animators to almost create their own little cryptic mini worlds that they may know never resolves.
Yeah.
And it's just a thing they're kind of to F with you a little bit. Is this one of them? I don't know.
It's a pretty exciting mystery. What's it going to lead to? I imagine, unfortunately, maybe something a little bit underwhelming. Or, as we say, it's cut content, or it's something that has previously already been found just by a different method. And this should have pointed you towards something exciting, but actually we've already found that exciting thing by just stumbling across it over the years or something. But who knows? We will keep up with developments.
Yeah, my dream is that you find the guitar, you can play it, and then the rhythm or beat gets rediscovered in GTA 6 as the key underlay of the Real Dimes track. That won't be true.
Becomes full circle.
But they might, if you're listening, Rockstar, pretend it was real. Make it so.
Yeah.
So what have I asked Rockstar? Simply create a music publishing device within GTA 6, as we said, in 10 weeks, 10 months actually, and reverse engineer a giant multi-threaded puzzle in order to join the two things together.
I would believe that this could be GTA 6 related if it had been patched in.
Yes.
Over the last few months or something. And it was a random game update and people were like, hang on a minute, we've discovered this new thing. But the fact that it's been in there since the beginning probably means that it's not related to any kind of promotional thing. It's just going to lead to a different mystery. Unfortunately, as much as I would love to believe that it was a clue pointing towards something GTA 6, because they've done that before. Rockstar have combined, playing GTA Online to get a revolver in Red Dead 2. Like it has some precedence, but on this occasion, I feel that it's just a cool mystery. But let's see where it leads. We'll keep you updated in the next few weeks as that develops. Hopefully the trail doesn't go cold. If you've got anything you wanted to send us, you can get in touch with us on Twitter at GTAVO'clock. You can send us an email, gtavio'clock@gmail.com. And you can sign up for the newsletter, which is going to be refreshed, revamped, back in action for 2026, coming to you this week. he says, looking at Dan.
It'll be
He's
refreshed
nodding.
in a way that it will actually happen again.
Exactly. Refreshed.
So, yeah, refreshed as in it will be published this Friday, which I believe is I'm going to say it wrong, the 9th
Yeah,
of January.
it is.
It is the 9th of January. So we'll be back 9th of January. Look forward to seeing you all then soon.
That is gamesradar.com/newsletter. Click on the GTA6 one and you will get signed up. You go away and do that. Please let us know in the comments what you thought about our return for 2026, and if you've got any theories about the Rappinator, or if you discover anything in following that Red Dead mystery. I'd love to hear more about it. So thank you all for commenting. Thank you for listening. We will be back next week for another episode of GTA 6 O'Clock.